Very good. I see it zooming in and out.
Is it?
In, out.
His driving population uses an inadequate amount of oil or does not follow the proper changing guidelines given you in your owner's manual.
Over 2/3 of all people out there driving aren't following the proper schedule. That's a lot of people out there causing a lot of problems to their car. So if you people want your car to run for a long time.
Yeah, we're going to record over that. Over 2/3 of this country's driving population does not use an adequate amount of oil in their vehicle and does not follow a proper oil changing schedule.
Over 2/3 of all you out there are driving with inadequate oil amounts in your car or dirty oil. That's a lot of you people causing a lot of damage to your car. So if you want your car to run for a long time, I suggest you listen up, because today we're going to tell you exactly why you should change your oil at the proper schedules, what happens if you don't, and we're going to show you exactly how to do it properly.
You need to change the oil in your car for two main reasons. Number one is oil cleans the inside of your engine. Number two, if you don't have an adequate amount of oil in your engine, it will overheat and your engine will seize, which produces bad news for you. That sucks. Rewind that.
You need to change engine oil in your car because oil is like the lifeblood to your car. If you are going too long without in-between oil changes, you're posing two major problems to your engine. It's either not going to have enough oil in it or it's going to be filled with dirty oil. If either of those things happen, it poses a disaster for you and your car, and you'll end up having to get a new car altogether. If you have dirty oil or not enough oil, it can't get the proper lubrication inside it needs, the pistons, to go up and down. And that'll cause the pistons, the metal, to expand. And if it expands, they'll seize up inside the motor, and you'll have to replace the whole car. The process of changing oil is really very simple, isn't it? You only need a few things, and it only takes a few simple steps. There's just some key elements to remember, which we'll explain.
This is very true. Number one, you're going to need an oil filter. You always want to replace your oil filter so you can have clean oil running through your car. A lot of problems will happen with dirty oil, which we'll explain later. Number two, you're going to need fresh oil. Number three, a jack to jack your car up, jack stand, and some tools. The first step you want to do is find a secure location and begin to jack up your car.
Now, Brian, not every car requires to be jacked up in order to change the oil, does it?
Very true, but today we're working on a 91 Supra, which is an extremely low-profile car. Once you have found a secure location for your jack stands, you slowly release it back onto the stand. Let's start that over. Once you have found a secure location for the jack stands, gently release down onto them.
Now, before you get underneath the car, there's one more safety precaution you need to take. Give it a real good shake. Shake it as hard as you can. And if it doesn't move very much, or you don't get a lot of slag out of it, it doesn't fall off the jack stands, then you know it's safe to climb under there. Once you're underneath the car, you need to locate the oil drain plug. You need to grab your box end wrench or your ratchet with the proper size attached, put it on there, and unscrew it. Once you get it loosened, it's a good idea to start it with your hands. Go very slowly and keep your hand on the screw, because once it starts pouring out, you don't want the screw to dump in the oil drain pan. Just watch out a little fast. Make sure you have a little rag or a dirty shirt on so you can wipe your hand off.
I want to be in the picture.
Oh, it's Now, before we get to the next step of actually changing the oil filter, the engine oil is draining. It's the perfect time to explain to you exactly why you need to change your engine oil at the proper increments.
You need to change your oil because having clean oil gives you a clean engine, and a clean engine is a happy engine. Reason two is that
before we get to the next step of actually changing the engine oil filter, the engine oil is draining, and we're going to tell you exactly why you need to change your oil, and what happens if you do not do it at the proper increments.
Okay, you need to change your oil because it needs clean oil. Clean oil cleans the engine. And if you don't have clean oil, you will not get the performance desired or the longevity of your engine. Reason 2 is that your pistons can seize if you don't have an adequate amount of oil. What I mean by seizing is without enough oil, the pistons moving up and down in the cylinder wall will overheat, expand, and then they will essentially melt inside of the engine block, and your car will run no more.
Next step is we're going to prep this clean oil filter before it goes on. In order to do that, we need to take some of the clean engine oil, we need to rub around the gasket on top. This way, when we're ready to change the oil again, this will slide right off. So you rub the gasket real good, get oil all over it, and then, as a little added bonus, if you just want to help your oil pump inside your car a little bit, you take a little of the clean oil, dump it about halfway full into the new filter. Now that this filter is all prepped, it's all ready to slide right on as soon as we get the old one off.
Now, after it's all done draining out, you put the oil pan plug back in, find the filter, and remove the filter. There will be some oil in that filter, so be careful not to get it all over you. On some cars, this process is extremely difficult. Being that this is a Toyota, it is, because you have to have very small hands. Kind of like carnies. This is what it looks like with the oil filter off. You see those threads on there? It is very important to properly thread the new oil filter on, and the circle on the outside, the circle being the gasket area. When you replace the new filter, all these things must be correct, otherwise when you're driving it could explode off and cause monumental engine damage. Once you get the new oil filter on there, to make sure it's set in place, you give it one final quarter turn to know that it's tight enough. It is important not to turn it too tight, otherwise you'll damage the gasket and oil will leak out. Now the final process you need to do after you've made sure that your oil filter and drain plug are securely fastened is you need to put oil back into the car. All you do is take off the oil cap, open up the good stuff. You want to use for winter time, by the way, 5W30. It's more viscous, which means that it will not freeze as easily in the colder temperatures. 10W30 is a good winter or a summer weight. See that color? That's beautiful. After you've placed the designated amount of oil into your engine, as found in the back of the owner's manual, you're ready to take it down off the jacks. Make sure you have enough oil in it by checking the dipstick, and you're ready to roll.
Today we've explained to you the very simple processes of why you need to change your engine oil, what happens if you do not change your engine oil, and the very easy process of how to change your engine oil, which basically included, with the simple safety precautions we provided, drain the old oil out, replace the new filter, and add some more oil in. It's as simple as that. So there's no excuse for riding around with the bad oil or not the correct amount.
Right. After you've put the oil into the engine, in which you can find out the amount in the back of your owner's manual, you're ready to take it down. After you've replaced the proper amount of engine oil, as designated in the back of the owner's manual, you're ready to take it off the jack stands and roll.
Such as we explained today, the very simple processes of why you should change your engine oil, what happens if you do not change your engine oil, and how to do that. It's a very simple process, explaining the precautions we've given you. All you have to do is relieve the engine of the old engine oil, replace a new filter, and add some more engine oil, and then you're done.
There are no excuses for driving around with bad oil now. Have a good one.
oil.
That is how you do that shit.
That's how you do that shit.
Clean your goddamn oil like that shit.
Or we'll beat your ass. We'll beat your mama's ass. We'll beat your
We
dog's
will
ass.
kill you.
Have a nice day.
We will hunt you down and burn you.
Have a nice day.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.